Okay, so boys and girls, number 4 is a TEI, which gives a lot of people trouble. So technology enhanced item directions. Click and drag the answers to the correct box. It says complete the table, comparing, which we know comparing means telling how things are alike. Contrasting tells how they're different. Uncle Ray's glider and the hawk Ella sees in the sky while flying. Well, what are we comparing and contrasting? We are comparing and contrasting the glider with the hawk that she sees in the sky while flying. This is a lot like a Venn diagram. On the left, we have the glider, so anything that's true for that we put there. On the right, we have the hawk. So anything true for just the hawk goes there. And anything that's true for both goes in the middle. So let's read our choices first and see if there's anything that we can just easily get rid of. And then we can look back for the rest. All right. Has a very quiet engine. Well, we know the hawk doesn't have an engine, so it can't go there or there. Could go in the glider. I'm pretty sure I remember that. Let's move on and see if there's anything we can get rid of. Very loud and heavy. Well, a glider is not loud. We actually saw here where it says the engine in paragraph 6, the engine's very peaceful. So it's not loud. Hawks are not loud. So we can get rid of this one. We're not going to use it at all. Has to be pulled into the sky. Always has to flap wings. Is able to float in the air. Can fly at any time. All right, let's look back and see about the rest of these. Has a very quiet engine. Well, like I just said, we know the engine is peaceful. Well, it doesn't have an engine, sorry. Ooh, look at that. Has a very quiet engine. Well, it doesn't have an engine. We learned that in paragraph 6. And we know the hawk doesn't have an engine. So get rid of that one. Has to be pulled into the sky. Well, I know a hawk doesn't have to be pulled into the sky. Let's look and see. And just think about where it is in the story. Most of the stuff about the glider is toward the beginning. Okay, in the middle. Okay, here they're just talking about towing the glider. He's putting on a safety harness. Oh, look at this. A moment later, Ella and Uncle Ray were being pulled into the sky. They are in the glider. So the glider has to be pulled into the sky. Obviously, a hawk does not. Always has to flap wings. Well, we already knew the glider didn't have to flap the wings. Let's see if the hawk needs to flap wings. I don't see anything about the hawk. So think back logically. Where were they talking about the hawk? That was towards the middle and the end. Here is the first place, if you're skimming, that you see the word hawk. So skim. There are air currents that lift the glider into the air, Uncle Ray said. He pointed to a hill on the ground. See that hawk above the trees? He isn't flapping his wings because he's riding the air currents. So, the hawk doesn't have to flap his wings. He's riding the air currents. Is able to float in the air. Well, we know the glider floats in the air. We know that a hawk floats in the air. And actually, let's see, it says right here in paragraph 9, Ella watched the hawk floating in circles. So both of them float. This is going to go here. This one should go under hawk, but let's make sure. Can fly at any time. All right, where were we talking about the hawk? It's right here. Let's continue reading. She thought about how lucky the hawk was to be able to fly anytime he wanted. So that works for the hawk. So the strategy is just get rid of the obvious ones that are wrong. Look back for proof. Okay, so in your corrections sheet, and you may want to pause this video and go back to your correction sheet. It looks like this. The stem is number 4 was a TEI. Those are always tricky. Compare and contrast. Okay. What you do is look to see what they are comparing and contrasting. You need to try to remember what you chose for your answers. If you look back at them, figure out what you did wrong. So you put what you chose, why you chose it, what's wrong with it, the correct answers. This one's going to be tricky to put into our chart. Let's see, glider. We can just put it here. Glider only has to be pulled into sky because the bird can fly on its own. Both float. And hawk fly any time. The strategy is to look back let's do this. X, the obvious, and then look back for proof. And I can even put on here the glider that was in, I don't have a paragraph symbol, but you all can do it. Kind of looks like a backwards P with 2 lines. Paragraph 4. The boat, I'm sorry, both can float. That's in paragraph 8. The hawk can fly anytime is in paragraph 9. All right, you're done.